Directed by David Gordon Green, The Exorcist Believer is a legacy sequel to 1973's The Exorcist. It follows two teenage girls who get possessed after a night alone in the woods. When they reappear after 3 days, strange things begin happening. This movie already had an uphill battle, but then a curveball came a few weeks ago in the Eras Tour, which comes out October 13th, and forced The Exorcist Believer to move up 1 week to October 6th. You might think this would have held the movie back, but Jason Blum is a master of numbers. Blumhouse has become known as a B-movie horror studio, which produces hits because of its low budgets. Jason is a businessman before anything else, but this is certainly the biggest risk he's ever taken as a producer. A risk I'm afraid won't pay off for the big names involved. And now he might be roped in to produce 2 more of these movies whether he likes it or not. It's just so strange to me that Universal and Peacock valued this movie franchise at $400 million. I want to know what went into that evaluation. It's got a shaky past, and just because the first is a classic doesn't mean that all the others can be lumped in the same category. The Exorcist is celebrating 50 years. That is a long time ago, no matter how you look at it. They would have been better off re-releasing the original in theaters to celebrate the anniversary. But David said, girl, I need a new job and the rest of my team does too, so we're just gonna make 3 more of these bitches. They had to come back to the table several times to get Ellen Burstyn on board. That should tell you something. Even though they tripled, quadrupled her salary, she finally said yes after they offered to finance an acting scholarship fund in her name. The woman is ancient. No offense, mama, you're a legend. But I know you really have better things to do. Like enjoying the rest of your life. There are so many people involved in a production of this size. How did no one see the red flags? Or did they see them and just ignore them? Numbers drive everything, but can't we leave some things in the past? And the crazy thing is, it's not like this franchise was incredibly successful. Like, take Harry Potter. I don't agree with it being rebooted as a television series for Max, but based on the history and how much money this thing can make, I get why it's a smart business decision. This is a fucking stupid business decision. This doesn't benefit anyone. I also don't get the name because I just watched The Exorcist 3 last night, and girl, the main detective has this whole monologue at the end and he finally finishes it with, "I believe in you." That kind of monologue should have been in this film. It's called The Exorcist Believer. There was a lot of faith mixing and preaching that all religions are similar and if we all just work together, we can defeat evil. So I get that part of it, but there was just a lot missing. The thing is, you didn't even need to call this an Exorcist film. You could have just made it a possession film and not involved anyone from the past. I mean, there's barely any lore from the Exorcist franchise in this movie. Barely. You know, the girl that said, "Your mom sucks cock in hell." I mean, I get why people would maybe want to see that again, but it's been 50 years, honey. Leslie Odom Jr. is the clear standout in this film. He is bigger than the movie, in fact. I really only know him from Hamilton, and this solidifies his position on the big screen. Hopefully this means he'll be considered to lead bigger projects in the future without being contractually attached to the Exorcist franchise. Without diving into spoilers, his story wraps up really nicely, and I think we can just leave him in this first one. Unless he really wants to come back for 2 and 3, I don't know. I don't think he really needs to, but if we're gonna drag this bitch out until the end of time, then I guess they could find a place for him. The girls, Lydia Jewett and Olivia O'Neill, were fantastic, and Olivia had a scary close resemblance to Linda Blair's Reagan. It must have been so fun to play Possessed because you literally channel psychotic. You could sit there and improv and really do anything that's a little off, and the team's like, "Wow, girl, she got a demon in her. She got a demon." You could just sit there and go, "Ow. And you're like, that's passing as possessed. Now, they definitely had more of a serious performance than that, but I'm just saying, that's gotta be exhilarating. Anne Dowd immediately elevates any production she's in. Let's be real, she's exquisite. And she should have been one of the highest paid actors in this film because she is really doing everything she can to bring this thing up to a level that it was never meant to be. Yeah. She could read terms and conditions, baby, and I'd be captivated. This is not groundbreaking here. We've seen these things before. In fact, this year, we've seen quite a few possession films. The Pope's Exorcist, Talk to Me. There's one that's out now, which is a foreign film, which I heard is very good, called When Evil Lurks. I watched one film, My Best Friend's Exorcism. Girl, it's camp, but it's not even that funny. No. It's starring that one actor from 8th grade. I'm not really a fan, but they definitely give a performance. People are obsessed with being possessed, and I don't get it. Now in 1973, that was terrifying. We're 50 years later, and we're still captivated. And I feel like a good possession story can be told. That's not the problem. It's not like comic book movie fatigue or something. We are still interested. Like one of my favorite horror movies, or one of my favorite movies, is The Conjuring, which is a possession movie done right. And now James Wan is directing Aquaman 2, so I really don't know what the state of this industry is right now. The film was written by the director and Peter Sattler, who's only written one other feature before this. With screen story by Scott Teems and Danny McBride, it's basically the same team that worked on the Halloween trilogy. They just used those movies to prove that they can keep working. They could get this one done, they could get 2 more done. With every review I write and every movie I watch, I'm realizing just how important the writing is. That screenplay is the basis for everything. The interesting perspective shots of the cinematography and the reimagining of the theme can't distract me from the weak writing. And if you want to go back to the foundation, the story itself isn't strong enough for a screenplay to be written on top of. I get it. It's a bunch of buddies who are very close. They want to keep working together. So they pitch this idea. It happens. They're so excited. But there are just pieces of the puzzle are not fitting. Things are not working. But no matter what any of us thought about the fucking movie, the numbers speak for themselves. Yeah, it made $45 million worldwide in its first weekend, already making back its budget of $30 million. Now, that's before marketing, but certainly they couldn't have spent that much. So Blumhouse is chillin'. They made their money back. Universal is sweating, because they gotta make a lot more money to get this franchise into the green. Sure, you can argue that the movies will encourage people to visit the Universal parks for Halloween Horror Nights, but as far as I know, the parks are already doing well. A little too well. Boasting lines up to 3 hours long for mazes that, I'm sorry, aren't that impressive. It'll be interesting to see if Universal will listen to how this film has been received, or if it's only listening to the cash money coming in. Here are the main issues that I had with the script. First off, the writers didn't do a good job at making us care about the girls. We never really get to know them, so therefore, we don't really care that they're possessed. I was more sympathetic watching Leslie's character on edge searching for the girls than I was watching him react to his demonic daughter becoming a psycho bitch in front of his eyes. The ritual of the possession itself was so minor. They said some chants over candlelight for maybe 30 seconds, and all of a sudden they are both possessed by an evil spirit? And what happened in the 3 days that they were gone? They don't remember a thing, and we don't really get any glimpses. And maybe that's by design, but in this case, I want to just call it what it is, lazy writing. The girls didn't open any doors with a Ouija board or anything. They could have done something modern and interesting like the Grimcuddy did. A demon was being passed around through the internet by a viral video. There were too many minor characters. Jennifer Nettles Slade as the little white girl's mom. That was a casting choice I didn't expect much from, but she delivered what was required. You don't even really get to know the priest very well. And he's kind of cute, but other than that, we don't know the man. Father Maddox. That's it. Okay, cool. You're watching this slow-ass movie finally get to its final few scenes, and then you're looking around at the room and you're thinking, who the fuck is that? Who is that man? Why is he here? I'm glad that you came. You heard some things going on down the street in the neighborhood and you came to support, but I don't know you. The characters also make stupid decisions. At one point, Chris MacNeil goes upstairs to check on one of the girls by herself. She knows there's a whole ass demon up there. I'm sorry, but her old ass goes up there just, well, what's going on up here? Oh my goodness, she is crawling on the ceiling. After all that Chris has been through, there is no fucking way that she would go up there alone. I refuse to believe that. They make her out to be some dumb old woman when, I'm sorry, that's not who she is. She's anything but. Okay, so the script stunk, but there was also some lazy editing thrown in there as the cherry on top. Moments where the ADR and the lips didn't match up. I know there's a lot going on, but the least we can do is make sure that the voiceover matches what we see on the screen. Girl, this is basic. Lastly, I get that all movies are inspired by those that have come before them. But there were direct moments, direct shots even, taken from other movies like Insidious, Lights Out, and The Haunting in Connecticut. Also, now that I think about it, the entire time I was looking around like, where is the Exorcist? Okay, we see the believers, but where is the Exorcist? And then spoiler alert, he comes in. You really think he's about to save the day. El kanama nachimachimach el kaname. And what happens? He gets his neck snapped. Not even quickly, not even shockingly. Slowly. Slowly, girl, slowly. Slow like the rest of this fucking movie. Whatever. The Exorcist Believer is a corporate cash grab that isn't worth the watch. Sure, there were a couple of cool intercuts and a really nice reorchestration of the theme from the original Exorcist, but nothing that we haven't seen before. One girl threw up a bunch of black goo and the other carved an upside down cross on her forehead. Big whoop. I get that the movie business is a business and you gotta make that coin, but I think you would make a lot more money if you were doing something original like Talk to Me did in the summer, instead of releasing more garbage into the ether that's just completely unnecessary. It didn't teach us anything. It didn't leave us with a sweet message. It left us with death, blood, a $400 million deal, and Dowd serving, Ellen Burstyn barely awake, acting. They really said, let me paint a circle on the floor, put these two girls in the middle, clear it out, put a bunch of people in there, throw in a little bit of VFX, and we've got a finale. I give this movie stay away. Stay away! And I can be easy to impress, but I can also be easy to offend if you don't do something right. I think David Gordon Green is talented, but he really needs to stop and reevaluate where he wants his career to go. If you want to learn more about how Taylor Swift changed the movie industry overnight, you can check out that video right over there. Until next time, I'll see you at the movies. Mahalo for watching.